Alright folks, hello and welcome to another Premodern video. Today's is gonna be a particularly spicy one because it's gonna be the last one that I'm gonna be making for a while. But we're gonna go out with a bang and we're gonna battle with the battle. Yes, you heard that right. We are of course talking about Battle of Wits, classic card all the way back from Odyssey, and it has spawned and given birth to probably some of the worst and most fun decks that have ever existed. This one comes from James. James, thank you so much for making this video happen. It took a while, but here it finally is, and we are going to be playing a super cool version of the deck that is entirely in Treva or band colors, however you want to call them. And it is very interesting, super based around finding tutors. And all this color combination gives us access to the most tutors because we have access to, Academy Rector as a way to get Battle of Wits. This being the main target, of course. And then we have Enlightened Tutor. We also have a Cunning Wish. We have Intuition. And we have both a Worldly Tutor and Living Wish, and finally, Eldramir's Call. One of my favorite cards in Premodern that I have honestly just not been able to find a way to make work. We also have access to Sterling Grove, which I guess it's another way to tutor for our good old friend Battle of Wits. And the rest of the deck is either card draw in Silver Library, Chromatic Spheres and Barb Sextant as some filtering for our mana. We also have access to Sleight of Hand, Portent, Peek, and Opt, Impulse as well, and then Accumulated Knowledge, which obviously works really, really well with Intuition. Dream Cache is a card that honestly I have seen in the past, and I have been very intrigued by it. So it's draw 3 cards and then put 2 either on top or bottom of your library, which is very, very interesting. I do wonder if this card has more potential. If it were instant, I think I would be all over this card, and I would definitely be playing it. Probably multiple shells. As a sorcery, it's a little bit shaky, but probably pretty good in this specific shell, I guess. We also have access to some removal in our Swords to Plowshares and Wrath of Gods. We have like a very, very tiny package of tutor targets for Enlightened Tutor with Powder Keg, which was all the way down there, and Sphere of Law for Academy Rector, of course. We also have a Singleton Propaganda as well, which we can use to get that. We have also Seal of Cleansing, which we can find off of Academy Rector or Enlightened Tutor. We have a bunch of instants as well, which we can find with Merchant Scroll, another tutor that I forgot about. Merchant Scroll can allow us to find Intuition, which then Intuition allows us to find Battle Wits. We have some card advantage in Fact or Fiction and Deep Analysis, and then I guess Crows and Tusker, which also doubles as Fixing. We have Yavimaya Elder, and notably a card that I did not know it existed, Primal Growth. The kicker sacrifice a creature and you search for a basic or 2 basics when you pay the kicker. And pretty cool. We also have Raven Familiar as a fodder for that card, and then a bunch of like counter spells, mana leaks, miscalcs, absorbs, Treva's charm, and notably we have Crop Rotation, and Crop Rotation gives us access to a Singleton Core Haven and a Singleton Phyrexian Tower. We have also 4 copies of Crossconverge. This card looks very, very intriguing to me, and it really shows, it really feels like a card that has potential in the Premodern format. The thing is that it's really hard to build a deck where you can actually never run out of Forest and Plains, because if you're either getting one of those, it's terrible. The fact that you're getting 2 of them is why this card is great, like just clean card advantage. The sideboard is entirely dedicated to wish targets. So we have a bunch of Cunning Wish targets in Radiance Judgment, Disenchant, Orim's Chant, E-Tutor, Argivian Find, Stifle, Hydroblast, Tranquil Domain, and Crop Rot. Crop Rot notably finds the Phyrexian Tower, so it's actually a way to sacrifice our Rector if we need it. And then we have Rector and Drake and Uktavi, as well as Phyrexian Tower as targets for Living Wish. Finally, we have a Singleton Cop Red, which goes alongside our Sphere, because I expect the red decks to be pretty bad matchups. so that's why. But yeah, super cool deck. There's actually a bunch of things. You will note that if we ever get below 200 cards, we basically don't have any way to win. But I thought that was part of the charm of playing the deck, so I did that on purpose. I could have done something like play, Form of the Dragon, or like some other like random powerful enchantment, though there's actually not that many of them, but still. But I thought it was much more fun to just do this as a sort of extra challenge. I don't know. Maybe it's just stupid, but yeah, I think this deck is gonna be a lot of fun. And one thing I can promise you, every game is gonna be very, very different because there's no way that we ever draw 2 copies of the same card. And if it is, it's because we tutor for it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you for the very first round. All right, folks, it has officially begun. Do we keep this hand? I think I do. Playing against Phil, and this hand looks pretty slow, but yeah, sure. This is the nice thing about this hand, is like it's pretty much duress proof. Like, what is my opponent gonna duress? Like, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter at all. All I need to do is draw a land, and then I can get probably green source with Crows and Verge. Oh, I guess we get both? My god, Crows and Verge is so good. We don't even have to choose, we just get it all. How does this card not see more play again? Oh, right, because there's no green-white decks that can actually leverage this. Took my intuition? I mean, that is the best card, I guess. Crows and Verge, go. I love that it still taps for mana. That's exciting. Wall of Roots. You got it, Phil. Let's play our island, and we'll pass the turn. Most likely playing against Survival Rock. As long as there's no quick survival, we should be good to go. Oh man, I just imagined what would happen if my opponent had a Stifle. Yay. I guess that's why Crows and Verge doesn't see that much play, huh? The nice thing about having 250 cards is that there's no way anybody's ever getting a 2-for-1 out of this. There's never ever gonna be a 2-for-1 in the 250 card deck. Just not happening. Never drawing 2 copies of the same card. Cunning Wish. You got it. 2 mana, another wall. Send the turn back. We're gonna do some Virgin of the Croson variety. Then we can probably Dream Cache. Could live in Wish for the land. Just nice. Hitting my land drop is pretty nice in this spot. I guess we get to do both. We get to go Living Wish for the land into Dream Cache. I mean, this honestly feels like it may just be a reasonable matchup. He just takes so long to kill me that I can set things up forever. Octavio Orangutan, you got it. Just to sack Therapy. I guess you just named Living Wish. Yep, I'm playing a bird. I mean, this is totally fine. Now is the moment of truth. Can Moto handle the tutoring? Alright, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so I guess we have found our land, so we can just go Dream Cache. And that asks whether we want to put the cards on top or the bottom. I think I'm going to put them on the bottom. Let's put them on the bottom, and I'm going to put a Plains and the Treva's Charm. And then we can go do this and play Sterling Grove. Next turn, we're probably just going to cast Factor Fiction, Deranged Hermit. That is his entire next turn. So let's play our land. And I guess I play out Battle of Wits. I play out Meddling Mage, I mean. Naming Survival. Send the turn back. We're going to... Maybe I should have named Recurring Nightmare there. Or he just lets it go. So I guess he does have Recurring Nightmare. Bone Shredder. Sure. So I guess it wouldn't have really mattered what I named. I'm going to take 4. We're going to Foth. And then we can go for Grove. Sterling Grove for Battle of Wits. Okay, that's the last card in his hand, which means we are cooking. Ha! There's the Battle of Wits right there. Yes. I'm going to put this one into my hand. Oh, this is great. Pass the turn. Oh, yes, this is awesome. I can guarantee that Phil did not foresee this outcome. Oh yeah, we're definitely we're screenshotting this one. Sideboarding. I guess the good thing about this is that sideboarding is pretty straightforward. We just hit submit. I don't think there's really anything we want to change. Easy, clean sideboarding. So now, obviously, we got our free win there. That's hilarious. But now Phil's going to have access to Naturalizes. He's going to have access to potentially Tranquil Domain. I doubt it, but definitely Tranquil Domain. Definitely Naturalize. We could see even Haunting Echoes. Haunting Echoes would be kind of brutal, because this deck doesn't really have a B plan. We're hoping to win with Battle Wits. That's that. And the entire thing is built around that. Maybe I should have actually done something about that where I include an alternate win condition. But I don't know, like this just seemed so hilarious. Funny that even though we have like 250 cards, we probably don't have a good Storm matchup. I guess that we can just play out a Croson Tusker and just swings like 3 or 4 times, which is pretty funny. I guess Fear of Law doesn't do anything, so we'd rather have, what, Octavia Orangutan instead, just because it's a 2-2. Maybe we get to kill a Masticore or something. Who knows? Nah, there's no way it's Octavia is the right one there. This looks like a perfect keep. I dare you to blind therapy here. Okay, play out my land, pass the turn. Duress would kind of suck. Wall into survival would also suck for me. Oh, Mesmeric Fiend. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Peak. So I'm just gonna slide a hand, take the Cunning Wish, pass the turn back. The idea for like actually doing that is because I don't want to make it easy for my opponent's Cabal therapies. Take 1, 5 mana for a Hermit. Okay, so we're looking for Wrath of God, I guess. Definitely bottom that land. Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll. Does that do anything? Is there anything we can wish for? I guess we can wish for... Oh, we should... No, never mind. Route. We can actually wish for Route. Just play out Brushland? We may have to wish for Orim's Chant just to kick it by a turn. Oh yeah, we're just gonna go for the Tuscarino. It does seem like a bad alternative, but we don't really have any other alternatives. Maybe I just need to wish. Yeah, I think like this Deranged Hermit is just gonna kill me too quickly, unfortunately for me. We may have to wish for the Orim's Chant here just to buy a turn. Yeah, I think that's the line. We wish for Orim's Chant. Next turn we Merchant Scroll into Upkeep Charm Chant. That buys us a turn, and we can peek to look for Wrath of God. We could plow. No, never mind. We cannot. We cannot Merchant Scroll for plow. Never mind. We may have to Merchant Scroll for a 1-drop, just a cantrip, like an opt, just to give us one more look towards Wrath of God, because it seems like the only card that matters here. Cunning Wish for Orim's Chant. That's right. Untap. Another Whiffski. So yeah, we're just gonna Merchant Scroll and then Upkeep Chant with Kicker. Really wish I could go get Intuition and try to go for that, but I don't have the time. My opponent has too much of a clock. Trevor's Charm, quite bad actually. Doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, I'm just gonna get an opt just to get one more look towards Wrath of God next turn. So Upkeep, Orim's Chant. He can't attack. He can't cast spells. Raven Familiar. We still take 9, so we're dead. So now we have to opt into Wrath of God. Another Wrath. Also another Wrath. Let's take a peek as we go out. He has another Hermit, Genesis, and Bone Shredder. Oh, Last Breath. I can now exile the Hermit, and then I only take 5. Never mind. I forgot that he can just cast another Hermit. Man, we're 1 mana short. Like, if I could mana leak into... But yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna be it. Alright, concede. Next game. I guess I have more tutors for creatures in my deck, so I'm gonna have Peacekeeper in here, because we have 4 calls for Worldly Tutors, so that means we could have, you know, more ways to actually find our Peacekeeper right there. Feel like exactly the kind of hand that he needs for this kind of matchup. Sure. Keep this, play a Thicket, pass the turn. He's got Duress. Probably gonna take the Wrath of God, unless he has another discard spell. If he has Savos Web, we're gonna be in a world of pain. Takes the Tutor. I'm pretty stoked about that choice. So let's play Step, play out the Star, pass the turn. He wants to blow up the Chromatic Sphere, that's fine. Survival. Alright, Miscalc. That's a good one for him to not know about. Okay, pitch his Bird for a Wall of Roots. Definitely gonna miscalc that. Cycle for blue. Miscalculation. It's effectively a Time Walk. Now we're gonna cycle this Thicket. Treva's Charm. Blue source would be nice. No blue source. So I guess I'm just gonna cycle Tusker for an island. Another island. Only have a single green source. Pretty awkward. So I guess I'm gonna play out the island so that I can cycle Step next turn. We can Treva's Charm the Survival, which is pretty nice. I don't think I want to play a naked Sterling Grove. I want to make sure that I can crack it to tutor for something. Pitches Genesis. I don't think he's going to have time for that. Maybe he does. It seems unlikely. Gets another wall. Guess he needs the mana. Pitches Hermit. I imagine that's going to go find Squee. There's Squee. It's going to use Wall of Roots. Does not use Wall of Roots. That's pretty good for me. So now we can pass the turn. We'll see what he finds off of these. And then we'll get to Treva's Charm the Survival. Gets Sadistic Hypnotist. So now he can choose to leave me empty-handed. He also ends up empty-handed. I guess he doesn't because he's got Genesis, so it's probably just correct for him to go for it here. Yeah, Hypnotist looks insane here. Hypnotist looks unreal right now. Next turn, he can Genesis back, Wall of Roots. Yeah, so now that's gonna get my entire hand. I could cycle Secluded Step, but there's, I mean, there's no reason to do that. That's super sick. This card is really good. Fantastic addition to the deck. So now imagine, unless he has some other good stuff to do, he's just gonna Genesis back either the Hermit or the Wall of Roots. Depending on the rest of his hand, either of those sound pretty tempting. My best draw would obviously be a Battle of Wits or a Tutor to go with Battle of Wits. Yeah, he goes for the wall. Makes a lot of sense. I have to assume there's some amount of natural ices in his hand. I know there's a Squee, but that's about it. Don't know anything else. Recurrent Nightmare. That's a problem. Yeah, drawing a land's not great there. That's kind of weird that he played out the Nightmare after knowing that I have access to multiple disenchant effects. And it's not really gonna matter, because now he just play the wall, make a mana, and start doing Recurrent Nightmare stuff. Man, Hypnotist really is amazing. Okay, that is not lethal in a single turn cycle. So we can still draw. We can still draw Battle Wits here. So let's cycle. Gain 2, draw, Crop Rot. That doesn't do anything for us at this point. Oh, you know what we can do? Huh. That's cool. So what we can do is we can Crop Rotation for Trevor's Ruins, bounce Secluded Step, and cycle it, which is neat. Oh, here what he can do... Oh, this is actually lethal, never mind. Because he can actually make every one of these a 3/3. I should have actually done the cycle thing in case I draw Counterspell. Now he's going to replay the Nightmare, so I guess I'm going to do it now. And I could potentially find like Absorb or something. So it's a neat little play. I doubt it's going to be effective, but... So we're going to sack, I guess, a Darker Waste, get a Trevor's Ruins, bounce, Secluded Step, cycle the step, and maybe find the Counterspell. Last Breath. We're once again in this spot. So I guess I can technically top deck a Wrath of God once again. Last Breath the Hermit, down to 6, and we draw... Raven Familiar. Not quite. That was exciting though. That was kind of exciting for a second, until it wasn't. There goes the first round. See you for the next one. Time for round number 2. This hand looks fine, I guess. Well, we actually got 2 cards of the same. Wild stuff. Okay. An island is somewhat interesting, I guess. Llanowar Waste, survival. So let's go for island, and I think I'm just dropping a library here. Seems better than the alternatives. I could have held up Counterspell, but my opponent already resolved the survival, so I don't think there's much use in doing that. Basking Rootwalla? Oh baby, we're gonna have a Cradle? Alright. That's a lot of stuff. We're going all in on the Wallas. We're gonna really have to find some sort of Wrath effect. Does this kill me next turn? No, it doesn't. Sadistic Hypnotist? Oh my god. Well, we're gonna counterspell that one, I guess. Primal Growth. Not quite what we're looking for. Wish? Is that what we're looking for? That's not it either. So I'm gonna have to Crop Rot for a blue source to counter the Hypnotist. So I guess I want Tusker. So let's play out the Tusker and pass. Wall of Roots. Alright. Definitely gonna have to counter this. So I guess I'm going to bin... Just gonna get a Yavimaya Coast, I guess. We could get a Trevor's Ruins, but I really need the green mana. I don't think I can afford to just not do something for a turn. So there goes the Hypnotist. Can't afford to have that resolve. Opponent's got Squee. I mean, this is gonna be a lot of damage next turn. It's not lethal, but it's a heck of a lot of damage. Double Squee. Alright, this is aggressive. Let's library, Battle Wits. So I really can't afford to pay life. So I think I'm going to keep the sleight of hand. I can Tusker for a blue source. Man, I'm just gonna die to these Rootwallas. Yeah, I think I just have to do that because I need to find the Wrath of God. The plus side is if we do Wrath and we start the game over, my opponent is starting for such a low place that I think I have a chance to just find the Battle Wits again. So yes, there. Get an island. Draw a card. Renewed Faith. Interesting. Don't think that either of these do anything for me. I'm gonna take the Portent, but honestly it doesn't really matter. Because I need... Like if my opponent just attacks and pumps, which is probably what they should have done last turn as well, then I can't really do anything about it, right? I need to find like White Source into Wrath. I guess if we find White Source first, I get to AK and Renewed Faith. So I get to gain 6, but potentially giving me one more. No, there's no. If my opponent just uses older mana, they just sink older mana into these Rootwallas, then we should be good to just die. Cool deck that my opponent's playing over there. I remember playing a version of this deck, and the issue that I saw was mostly the fact that when you don't draw Survival or you don't draw Cradle, and this, you need both, right? For this engine is very, very strong, but you need both of these cards. And when you draw one and not the other, then it is really just clunky. Obviously, when you draw both, it, you know, what just happened happens, you know, and by turn 4, I was already potentially facing lethal. But when you don't draw those pieces, then it's a little bit... So one jumps just pumps everything, which makes sense. They're going to swing for 12. They should definitely sink everything they got into this. We go to 2. We do have a white source, but we don't have enough life. Next game. Once again, Sphere of Law doesn't do anything. So I guess we want Peacekeeper? Yeah, that seems fine. Honestly, I got a game already from these leagues, so I feel like I'm just winning here. I do feel like I'm winning already. I feel like Landstill would be a good matchup for this deck. That's it, just Landstill. We want to get paired against specifically Landstill, nothing else. That's the deck we want to be able to play against. And even still, like, Landstill with like Dust Bowls and stuff, and like Manlands, I don't know if I want to play against that. This is too funny. Okay, let's see what we got here. This hand looks pretty great. Turn 1, Crossum Verge. Turn 2, fetch for an island. Mana Leak something. Is this just the best card in the deck? I think Crossum Verge is just the best card in this deck. Am I getting no Therapy? There's no way my opponent names Mana Leak here. I feel like they're probably gonna name Source to Plowshares. Also, once again, we're in a spot where we drew 2 of the same card once again. Back-to-back games where we were weak to Cabal Therapy. I really hope they don't have Survival in hand, because if they do have Survival in hand, then it is correct for them to name Mana Leak or Disenchant, or I guess Naturalize or something. Named Academy Rector. It's a fine name. We're gonna be countering literally anything my opponent plays next turn. It's possible my opponent should just not play anything here. Yep, this one's very much getting countered. I think my opponent should have like skipped this turn, and then on the next turn they play something so that they don't allow me to activate Crossum Verge. We missed our land drop, which is unlucky, but it's fine. I'm gonna let that resolve. If my opponent wants to flashback Therapy with it, I'm totally fine with just countering this. This effectively this is like forcing them to name Mana Leak with this Cabal Therapy. There's the bird. Any land would be great. Worldly Tutor is not great. So let's Portent myself. Alright, we're gonna put all of these on top. Not shuffle. Now we're gonna draw the City of Brass. Then we're gonna draw the Battle Wits, and we're gonna activate Crossum Verge next turn, unless my opponent plays something that I really need to miscalc or Source to Plowshares. We tap out for Genesis. So I'm gonna play my land. Do I just take 4? I really want to sack this Crossum Verge. I guess I'm going to... I can just cycle Miscalc, I guess. I think I'm gonna have to take 4. Unless my opponent plays a Cabal Therapy. I'm just gonna take 4. There it comes. Oh, I thought I ordered my cards the opposite way. Okay, so I'm just gonna let this resolve. This is gonna take my Source to Plowshares. And then I will cycle the Chromatic Sphere so that I can draw Battle of Wits. Although I guess my opponent has some Naturalizes in hand, huh? They take Dream Cache? Oh, that sounds great. Perfect. Okay, let's draw the Battle of Wits and activate this. Get a Forest, get a Plains. Now we untap. Land is perfect. So now we get to play out Sterling Grove. We're holding up Miscalc. And I'm just gonna Source to Plowshares the Genesis. Opponent swings. We're gonna fetch for a Plains. Plow your Genesis. Take 1. We could tutor for a Rector. That would effectively blank my opponent's attack. Okay, so that's Vigilante. So I think I'm gonna tutor for Rector. It's kind of awkward to do this with the Battle of Wits in my hand, but I think this is fine. Could also get Tusker. No, I'm just gonna get Rector. This is a moat right here, which is very nice. Unless they have exactly removal plus Withered Wretch, this just blanks my opponent's offensive entirely. Kind of worried about dying to these 3-2. Naturalize my Sterling Grove instead of flipping this. 5 mana for a Hypnotist. They sack the bird. They take my hand. That sucks. Now they can't attack. Let's peek. Birds of Paradise. We found Living Wish. Damn it. Why did we need to find Living Wish? We get Living Wish for Gilded Drake? That's really funny. I could wish for a Phyrexian Tower, but then my opponent just... Like, this is a Vigilante, so there's not much I can do about that. I can also just pass the turn. I guess I'm just gonna wish for the land. Survival is a very good draw for him. I'm gonna take some damage. Opponent can't actually tap out of Vigilante mana because I win. I mean, they can do it on my end step. Ugh, that sucks. So I already have enough mana, I think. So I'm gonna hold on to this. So maybe my opponent will suck something to the Hypnotist. In retrospect, one thing that I would consider adding would be something like Future Sight. Just having access to it as a one-off could be interesting. I do think that I messed up when I F6'd and my opponent naturalized the Sterling Grove. I should have probably just sacked that to get another Sterling Grove. Although I would be one card behind in that scenario, so I don't know. At this point, I think my out is just for my opponent to make a mistake. It's just for my opponent to just tap out of Vigilante mana for no reason, and just so I can punish them. So I guess in this scenario, it's actually good for my opponent to sack the Fiend to Hypnotist. So their draw from turn was a green source, which is kind of bad for me, because that allows my opponent to now do stuff. So now they can go squee into wall to develop their mana. Peach squee for Krovigan Horror. Peach Krovigan Horror for Wretch. Alright, that was a mistake. Yeah, I was F6, so I had to sack Rector in response to the Wretch. Now if my opponent knows what's up, I'm just dead. So now they can exile with the Rector trigger on the stack. Oh, they don't know about that. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we got lucky here. Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. It's like I misclicked and then my opponent misclicked again. It was just a mess. That's hilarious. That's very funny. It was a misclick party. How do we feel about this hand? Probably not, right? We're gonna ship this one. This one's nice. Okay, we're gonna keep this one. We're gonna bottom the Latnam's Legacy. We have a healthy amount of cantrips here. Duress, very bad for him. Immediately takes the library. So here's a Barbed Sextant. Sextant? What mana of any color will draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep? Sure. Can we draw land? Chromatic Sphere. Okay. Maybe I should have cracked the Sextant there. I don't know. And once again, drawing two of a kind. I did not crack the Sextant there because it seems kind of weird in the face of this Yavimaya Elder, which is going to be GG, right? Like, I'm going to crack the Sphere now. But I may need the Sextant to help me get to double green. Meddling Mage is not great, so let's filter for blue, I guess, because I may find a cantrip. Crows on Verge. It's not the worst, definitely not the best either. But now this coming turn I can play Meddling Mage, naming Survival. Ooh, some Infestation. Filter for white, name Survival of the Fittest. If they don't have like a natural, well, they have a natural squee. That's bad for me. Rector. Ugh. So they're gonna get to attack for 4. I think I take it this turn. Next turn they're gonna get to attack for 6 though. Duress. Should probably take the Barbed Sextant here. Definitely the right play there. No! At this point it just feels like I'm a little bit too far behind, unfortunately. Vampire Hounds and Squee. My opponent's playing mono black. If I had handed land there, then I can trade with the Wretch, then take 4. Then take 6 on the following turn. Maybe I can race if I can activate. No, I guess I was still 1 turn too short because of the natural squee. Yeah, now it's 1 turn too late because my opponent just has lethal on board. All right, we were close. We were close. I feel like if I had hit my land drop on turn 3, I feel like we would have been fine, but obviously that didn't happen. All right, see you for the next round. Round number 3. My opponent keeps, and I think I'm going to keep as well. Turn 1, Elfheim Palace. Classic play. Classic Premodern play. Basic island. There's the palace. Hope he's not Dreadnought. I feel like the information that we're giving away is there's not much of value to be gained from conceding the game when you submit 242 cards. Island. Okay. I think I'm just gonna peek on end step. That's gonna give me better information as to what to name with this Meddling Mage, obviously. Opponent AKs on end step. So that suggests that we're talking about tide control. Let's take a peek. They have no counter magic? Yeah, okay. I'm probably still gonna name Parallax Tide with this Meddling Mage. And I'm gonna filter now because my mana is perfect. So there's no reason not to do it like this. The problem is if my opponent impulses into a Tide, I just lose because they have Stifle. They could get Force Spike off of this impulse, which would be very bad for me. Obviously, this allows them to trade this powder keg for my meddling mage, but I think that's fine. Another palace. That's kind of whatever. There's the Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl my land. I think I'm totally okay with that. Swing for 2. Let's Raven Familiar here. We're gonna get Chromatic Sphere. Actually, I should have probably taken the other cycler. Put in place another island. There's the keg. I feel like I'm just paying Echo. As awkward as this may seem. Play Elfheim Palace. I'll just swing for 3. Keg ticks up. There's the Conclave. Okay. Just main phase Dust Bowl, huh? That's the strat. This is very nice here. That is so nice. Put this on top. No, on the bottom. We're gonna bottom the Latnams and the Last Breath. Play my island and swing for 3. I guess I'm gonna play out the Chromatic Star. Swing for 3. Play the star. Pass the turn. So if they drew a Parallax Tide, we probably lose the game because we know they have Stifle and they can pop, destroy Meddling Mage, and then Tithe me. So that's a Quicksand, also not great for me. So let's play Sterling Grove. It just resolves. I guess I swing with both because if my opponent wants to kill my Meddling Mage with Quicksand, that puts them down a land. Totally fine with. I mean, this Powder Keg already has my Raven Familiar covered, so getting them into Miscalc range seems good for me. Here we'll just untap. Flooded Strand. Swing for 1. Kind of awkward that we have to counter a Factor Fiction here. Fairy Conclave? And they're swinging? Oh, I'm totally okay with this. Maybe they'll stifle this Flooded Strand. That would be perfect for me. They don't. Get an island. Cycle here. I just plow the Fairy Conclave. Peak is a very good draw here. Allows me to see whether the coast is clear. Wow, they just have nothing. So now we just tutor for Battle of Wits and just slam it. Play my land. So they're gonna need to Chain of Vapor my Sterling Grove just so they can attempt to Chain of Vapor my Battle of Wits. So Powder Keg gets cracked. That kills my bird. I mean, they have to do it. They don't. Very interesting. Another keg gets deployed. I have perfect information, so they're just gonna stifle my trigger twice. Yeah, that's fine. Academy Rector is a nice pickup. Play my land, pass the turn. Chain of Vapor my Sterling Grove. That resolves. And if they Chain of Vapor now, I just miscalc. I guess I should have just miscalced that there. Though this is fine, though. No, actually it's not fine. No, this is fine. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah. So now they don't have Chain of Vapors anymore. This is the best thing they can do. Totally okay with. Now we'll just do this thing again. And I played the Battle Wits first so that I could play around Mana Leak. And then I obviously did not play the Mind Stone because I wanted to play around the Force Spike. That is a known card. Let's see if my opponent can draw another Stifle. Main Phase Impulse. Desperation. My opponent's probably going to have 4 annuls, which is not a card that I want to see. So far, we have stolen 1 game every single match. Just want to throw that out there, you know? Literally no reasonable cards, right? Just no reasonable cards at all. Maybe Octabi. Once again, I have to cut something for the Sphere of Law. We have a lot of bad cards in this matchup. We have a lot of bad cards. So many bad cards. I guess I keep it. No, double Swords to Plowshares is just too many. Although I guess Dream Cache kind of undoes that. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Island is, I guess, not the worst draw. Let's take a peek. Counterspell, Factor Fiction, Annuls. Yeah, this is a nightmare hand. We're gonna be jamming a bunch. I think if I were my opponent, I would probably annul this. The AK instead. Okay. They just have so many blue casting cost cards. Okay, they just found an island. Here's a plains, so I guess I'll just cast this Dream Cache card. I don't know how you pronounce this. Top? No. Bottom. Bottom 2 Swords to Plowshares. Was supposed to play the Bar of Sextant there. I missed a little bit of a mistake. It's the Quicksand, so now we are in Factor Fiction territory, which is quite bad for me. Let's play this card, and I guess I'm gonna play out the Coastal Tower. Here comes the Foth. So Stifle. We doing this? Yes, we're doing this. Lands versus spells. They get Stifle and Chain of Vapor. We untap. That's a Wrath of God. Okay. I'm gonna play a Sterling Grove. I imagine this gets countered. It's annulled, probably. Yeah. AK for 2. Very sexy. It's a lot of removal spells. I'll concede here. We can continue playing that game. It's not a fun game. I'm over it. So let's cut this rat. Let's bring in Tranquil Domain. And I guess I'm gonna bring in another tutor. It's so bad. Can bring in Argivian Find, I guess. Because Scrub Rotation also looks terrible. I guess it's not as bad as Wrath of God, never mind. It's got the rats, bring in the crop. I guess I'm gonna be wishing for Orim's Chant basically every single time, so let's bring in the Stifle. Could also be bringing in the Disenchant, but we already have the Tranquil Domain anyway, so see what we got here. Fine, I guess. Fine is a very generous way to put it, but Coastal Tower for the perfect mana. Play lands, here you go. Next turn, I'm just gonna jam Propaganda because there's nothing that I care about countering on turn 2. Turn 3, I guess. Do this. Just sits in play, but it makes it awkward for my opponent to do things. It makes it awkward for them to kill me, not to do things. should be more specific. We get to tutor for AK. We could go for Foth. I'm just gonna go for AK. It's gonna make things so much more interesting. Opponents out there hitting land drops like a champion. Intuition. They slam an AK. Okay. Casting an AK when I have a face-up one is definitely interesting. So I'm just gonna cast Intuition here. Don't really care whether this results or not. Yeah, it baits out a counterspell. Love it. Ancestral. I really need to hit my land drops here. Really need to hit land drops. Impulse is fine. AK I would fight over. Opponent goes for the Tithe. And I'm just gonna attempt to counterspell that. Don't think it's gonna work, but... So this at least makes it so my opponent needs to have specifically Stifle, which it looks like they don't. So now I can just wish for a Disenchant. If they have Misdirection, I'm gonna lose, but at least I have a chance here. Could also just be that they have a second Parallax Tide and then we just die, but Misdirection would be super brutal here because they can just misdirect to my Propaganda. They could have untapped all of their lands if they wanted to. Maybe it just doesn't do anything for them. Just something that could have been done. Let's cast the Scream Cachet card on top. No, on the bottom. With the bottom. Last breath. I guess I bottom this Frantic Search. Sleight of hand, looking for a land. Sleight of land, more so. Unlucky. Oh, at least we found the Mana Leak, I guess. So if they Foth here, I'm gonna Mana Leak. They don't. Play Factory. This is obviously a mistake. I think that they just meant to activate the Fairy Conclave instead. I don't think it really matters, but opt. Bottom the Treva's Charm. Land is good. Let's get an Elder. This is actually pretty nice right here. And that resolved. Get this Barb Sextant card into play. Send the turn back. Quicksand. I love that this Propaganda is just sitting in play. It just takes so much mana for my opponent to do anything. Alright, they activate Conclave. Now they need to pay 2 to attack, which they do. And now we're gonna plow this. They fight over this? Pretty great, I think. Yeah, that resolves. That sounds great. So now we are gonna cycle this thingy and crack the Elder to get some lands. If my opponent wants to stifle either one of these, I'm all about it. We're gonna get, I think we're just gonna get to Forest. And then we draw a card. Man, this is somehow looking okay. Sure, stifle the draw card. Sounds great. We still get to draw a card with this thingy. It's a lot of land. We get a nice little Impulse and Meddling Mage. And now we're gonna Mage, naming, I guess, Parallax Tide. Send it back. Maybe I should have gotten Phyrexian Furnace. Phyrexian, no, because I want to protect it. Yeah, I was thinking of getting the Phyrexian Tower, but my opponent has Dust Bowl, so I don't think I want to expose that. Very interesting. Swing with Factory. Yeah, I'll trade. We untap. We definitely need some card advantage here. Where are my deep analysis? Not quite it. I think I'm swinging for 1 here because my opponent tapped down the Quicksand. So if they want to spend 5 mana to swing for 2, that's an exchange I can live with. Main Phase Impulse. Mishra's Factory is bad for me. We should definitely have a Dust Bowl in this deck. I don't think I'm going to play out Stelling Grove this turn. If we had a singleton Dust Bowl, we would be in okay shape here. Opponent swings for 2. Can we find the deep analysis? Factor Fiction. So let's play this. Probably counterworthy. Annul. Next turn. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. End step. Here's a Factor Fiction. This is a cool Factor Fiction. This is a cool one. How the hell do you split this? I guess call land Disenchant versus the other 2? Just replace themselves. It's neat. It's pretty cool. Once again, no deep analysis though. Just unlucky. I just drew both deep analysis against the aggro decks. I overdid it. Interesting pile. Yeah, I'll choose pile number 2. And I think still on the end step I'm gonna call. And I can untap and Rector. Untap. Another Lambert's Call. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That resolved. Okay. So let's play the Mind Stone. And I guess we're just gonna play it a little bit slow. Swing for 1. Maybe my opponent will tap low here. Factor Fiction. So we're gonna let this resolve. I guess we're splitting like this. AK represents 3 cards. At this point, I don't really think the tide matters. So I think my opponent's just going to take AK plus Island. And now, I guess we put a stop on their upkeep. If they attempt to AK now we can Crop Rot, sacrificing, I guess, one of these forests for tower. Then sacrifice Rector to go get Battle of Wits. And now we mana leak, accumulated knowledge. My opponent says I was really hoping that you slammed the Seed Time there. Seed Time's too bad. I wish it weren't, but it's too bad a card. Chain of Vapor. So we play on. Man, this propaganda is doing so much work. 13 mana. So we should have enough to play around mana leak. End step call. We're gonna get another Rector. Untap. 1, 2. Let's start by playing out the Battle of Wits. If this gets annulled, yeah, it does. Then I'm gonna play out my Trevas runes, and I'm gonna play out 2, 3, 4, the Academy Rector, which resolved. Swing for 1. We'll see whether my opponent has Stifle. I could have done it on my opponent's upkeep, but this way I also get to potentially threaten to block. Opponent swings for 2 there. Well, we'll see if one of their last 2... I guess I can maybe 1 untap. No, I'm just gonna do it now. They do have the Stifle. One of the last 2 cards was indeed the Stifle. Untap. Heavy Maya Elder. Actually, kind of unlucky. Hey, there we go. Battle of Wits. Did resolve. Hold. I guess I'm not gonna attack here. Do we have Chain of Vapor into Counterspell? I mean, their best draw is AK, and then AK finds Chain of Vapor and Counterspell. Yes! We got a match! Oh, man. All right. All right. This stopped right here. Stop the count. Stop the count. We're done. We are done. We are already winners. Wow. That was fun. This hand looks, I guess, fine. Hoping we don't get too punished. But, you know, 1 lander with Portent. Very unlucky that I actually drew my only non-old frame City of Brass. I'm just unlucky. None of those is a land, so we're just gonna shuffle. And we're gonna hope... We have another look with Sleight of Hand next turn. But we're gonna hope that we find a land. We're also gonna hope that we're not playing against an aggressive deck. So let's go... Fairy Conclave is an interesting one. It's kind of an awkward situation. I think I'm gonna play Sleight of Hand. We may find another land. I need to be tap land here. In which case I'm probably gonna play that. Powder Keg or Sylvan Library. I think I want the library. And then I guess I'm gonna play the Thicket. There's no need to play Trevas Ruins there. Quicksand. Okay, so we're playing against Mono Blue Tide again. This time with Standstill. Okay, so I'm just gonna give my opponent a bunch of cards, which means they're gonna go to discard, which is good for me. We get to Deep Analysis next turn, which is cool. Chain of Vapor. It's acceptable. We go to Cleanup. Found a land. So we're gonna play the library again. They don't fight. Okay. And then I'm gonna play this Meddling Mage. This opens up Force Spike, but I think this is fine. We're gonna name Parallax Tide here, and then we're gonna pass the turn. It's looking very well for us. Wrath of God. I don't think we're gonna be taking that one. Do I want to pay life? I don't think so. I think I just want to continue hitting my land drops, and I might as well cast this Deep Analysis here and just send the turn back. This may be a little bit risky, because now my opponent can end step bounce my Meddling Mage and then Tide combo me. So this may be just a bad play. Oh, looks like they don't have it. Okay, play Fairy Conclave and say go again. Another Seal of Cleansing. Renewed Faith. This is looking kind of fine. All of these cards are pretty good for me. Let's play out the Seal of Cleansing. Kind of nice that we can play these proactively. Then we play Trevas, bounce the Adarkar Waste, and we could flashback Deep Analysis. I think I'm just gonna pass the turn though. I don't want to get my counterspell nabbed by Force Spike, so we're just gonna pass the turn here. No Factor Fiction on my end step is huge. So I'll just disenchant this, I guess. Very nice. Untap. There's a Renewed Faith there. We have some more lands. Do I want to pay life? We're going to be paying 3 for the Deep Analysis, so I don't want to get too out of control with this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to chill. Play my land, cast Deep Analysis, draw 2. I'm going to counterspell this. Great. We're going to play another Seal of Cleansing, and due to the Quicksand, we can't actually attack, so we're just going to chill. They're attacking with the Conclave. So I'm just going to cycle here, because we actually don't have that many lands. Going to gain a couple of life, draw my Sleight of Hand, and then tap. We're looking for a Battle of Wits. Okay, so we're just going to Sleight of Hand here, get the Lonely Sandbar, play my land and pass the turn again. We're gonna cycle the Sand Baron end step. Conclave gets in there again. This is all acceptable. Cycle Sand Baron end step. It's gonna draw my land. We get another look. Croson Tusker. Alright. We get to shuffle, which is pretty nice. Gonna cycle first, then shuffle. And I think we want to get an island here. Pass the turn again. Kind of a weird game. It's pretty funny that if we find Rector, we're gonna have to wrath it. That's the only way that we can get it. Untap. Another sandbar. Alright. All of these look fine to me. Play a land and say go. What a weird game. 5 mana on end step. Oh, 4. This is Factor Fiction? Oh, Flash of Insight. They're playing around Force Spike. Interesting that they wouldn't fire off both. I guess my opponent's still scared of what I may be able to do. We kind of have to find something here though. Cycle for Impulse. Miscalc, not Latnams. Yeah, I'm taking Latnams and we're casting Latnams here. I'm gonna shuffle my Wrath and then we untap, draw 2. We actually have a pretty healthy amount of Stifle. Oh, we're gonna have to counter that. I don't think that we can afford to get our draw 2 blown up. Can we draw 2, please? Oh, that's a lot of lands. That's a lot of lands. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool that we get to actually put back some lands instead, because we drew these this turn. Didn't even think about that. So let's cycle Tusker. Kind of running out of time here. Get another island. We could use the Swords to Plowshares too. Okay. There's Sterling Grove. I don't think that's fast enough because my opponent has 2 flying threats, but I guess it's better than the alternative. So we're not going to shuffle. Pass the turn. Now they're going to flashback Flash of Insight, which is pretty bad for me. Ooh, they have AK. That means my AK is better. So there's that at least. My opponent should probably attack with both Conclaves here. Just a 1. Also, they didn't flashback the Flash of Insight, which is interesting. Let's peek. And now we get to see Counterspell, Counterspell, Nevdisk, Chain of Vapor, Tithe. Here's an AK for 2. The Flash of Insight for 6 in response. But now they're off of double Counterspell. Oh, because they wanted to exile their own AK. That makes sense. That's a Meddling Mage. No Swords to Plowshares. Okay. So this doesn't actually change anything. So let's play a Raven Familiar here. Maybe I should have led on Sterling Grove, actually. That's baits out a Counterspell. Here's Sterling Grove. And I guess I'm dead. So just back it in. Game 2. Once again, we're going to cut this Fear of Law and bring in Uktabi. These Wrath of Gods look terrible. So instead of the Wraths, we're going to have another Tutor, Stifle, Corrupt Rotation, and Tranquil Domain. It's not great. Those are not great options, but it'll need to do. We'll still have stuff to be able to wish for if necessary. His hand seems a tad slow. I think I'm going to ship it. Not that much better, but certainly better. So we're going to bottom the Disenchant, play a land, pass the turn. It's a nice pickup. Merchant Scroll. What are we scrolling for? Just Factor Fiction? I think it's just Factor Fiction. We try to play a card advantage game. Play a land, pass the turn, the AK on end step. Maybe I should have gone Intuition. Here we get to cycle looking for planes, and we draw. You have Maya Elder. Definitely don't want to get tighted here. We are going to Factor Fiction on end step though. We can wish for Orim's Chant, which is nice. Here's Factor Fiction, Counterspell. So we are free to resolve something here. Let's cycle Step to begin with, because we find the green source and we get to resolve the Elder. Okay, so it's Dream Cachet. We're going to put 2 cards on the bottom. The Elder and pass the turn. So now we can... I guess I should have kept the Wish. It's interesting. Because this, the crop rotation means that I get Phyrexian Tower, which is nice. And then Wish allows me to tutor for Orim's Chant, which is also nice. Now let's get an island here. I'll put in Flash of Insights for 1. I'm gonna let that resolve, because I want to hide my plans. Attack with Factory. Stand still. I'm gonna Cunning Wish for Orim's Chant. And then I'll tutor now. If my opponent wants to counterspell, they didn't. Okay, so we get Rector. We draw the Rector. Now we chant, then we Rector, and then we Crop Rot. And we want to do this right now to play around Stifle. And this is what we got, opponent. Please don't Chain of Vapor me. They're gonna do both. Oh man. So now they get to chain and sack a land and bounce my Battle Wits as well. So this is brutal. Not that we could really do anything about this. This was just bound to happen. We definitely got pretty lucky to win to win the previous game, I'm not gonna lie. The previous match against this deck, like it actually seems pretty bad for us. All right, I've seen enough. That was fun though. That was fun. We had like a pretty cool turn there. Didn't quite get there. Another match. Keep this. And I think I lead on Sandbar. I'm not sure I love Frantic Search in this deck. Unless we draw specifically Deep Analysis, we're not really doing much with this. So I'm not super excited about it. Gemstone Mine into Bird. Okay. Potentially a problem. Smells like some sort of combo deck. Library. Yep. I'm gonna get rid of that one. If we have mana, I guess it doesn't matter. Like, I'm probably just going to do this anyway. I guess that makes Frantic Search better. There you go. We drew the combo. Pass the turn. We may need to use this for white mana. We'll see. Werebear. Cradle. Uh-oh. Glow Rider. Damn. Well, we really need to find the land now, so I guess we're just gonna cycle these Barbed Sextant. That was a nice turn for him. Impulse. Find me a land, please. A Darker Waste. I would have probably taken a green source there, had I had the option, so that I could play the Yavimaya Elder, just entirely stop my opponent's offensive. What a stupid dude. Uh-oh, he's making a lot of mana. Is this a get-in? Don't get on me, Artie. Don't do it. Exalted Angel. Ugh. So I guess I'll need to take a turn off so I can Treva's Charm this thing. This is gonna kill me way too quickly otherwise. Artie not playing around Treva's Charm? What the hell, Artie? How are you not playing around Treva's Charm here? Should have clearly held back the Angel for the turn. Man, Glow Rider, what a banger. I think this card is very underplayed in Premodern for what it's worth. I tried it in a Terrageddon shell in one of my previous videos, and it was surprisingly good. Oh, this is actually just non-creatures. I'm still gonna do this. We're gonna Frantic Search, looking for a land, preferably a green source. No green source. Definitely gonna pitch the Deep Analysis, and I guess we're gonna pitch the Island. Yeah, I guess we really need another green source. Guess we're gonna Impulse for one. So just main phase Impulse. Last Breath. Yeah, I guess I'll take the green source. Feels bad. Feels quite bad to do that, but I'm terrified of Armageddon here. Play my land. Play my Elder. Just gonna plow. Gonna crack for a couple of basics. Plains and Island. And we drew Battle Wits. Interesting. So we can't Battle Wits this turn, so we just have to roll the dice and hope he doesn't have a Disenchant. Yep, that seems like the only way. Please no Disenchant one time. I can't even peek to check whether the coast is clear. He didn't do anything though, so that's good. That's a good sign. He's gonna wait for probably for a cycling land. Wasteland. That's bad for me. If he gets Wasteland there, it's because he has the Disenchant effect. Because otherwise he would have just hold. Are we doing it? Yes! Woo, baby! We got there. Hell yeah. Man, this Fear of Law has made sideboarding so smooth. Let's bring in the Peacekeeper. I think that's it. All my other cards seem fine-ish. This is good content, folks. If you were wondering what good content is, right here. The problem is my opponent is green and white, so I'm expecting like 17 Disenchant effects post-board, which is going to be rough to beat. But hey, we did the thing. We did the thing much more than I expected, I'm going to say. We have Resolve Battle of Wits triggers like 5 times already? How awesome is that? Okay, what are we looking at here? I mean, this is a keep, right? I'm not going to not keep that. Many ways that this doesn't work out, but if it does work out, however, it's going to be a heck of a party. Leading on Forest, we get to Impulse on 2. Ooh, Port. Guess we don't get to Impulse on 2. I think I want to play out the Brushland in case he has a Wasteland. Port on Upkeep. That's cool, that's cool. I think I'm just going to play out the Crows and Birch. We get some value here. Library. Sure, we'll let that resolve. And we're going to play Maya Coast. Send it back. Now he gets to draw 3, which is very good. He only pays 4. Can't be right. Some Mother of Runes. Do some Virgin of the Croson variety. Get my forest, get my plains. Ramping hard over here. Might as well Impulse here, use this mana. See what we find. Coastal Tower? Get a Battle Wits here? No, I'm gonna take the Coastal Tower actually. Redundant Battle Wits is not terrible though, for sure. But I want to resolve the Sterling Grove here. And worst case scenario, we can probably get another Sterling Grove, actually. if my opponent disenchants this. But having the second blue source actually allows me to battle wits through the port. Down to 6. So he needs, I guess, 2 Naturalizes or Tranquil Domain, Wall of Roots, Glow Rider. I mean, I'm gonna force him to have it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not really getting any better for me. Also, the Glow Rider now makes the Naturalizes cost more mana. Tranquil Domain would be pretty rough, but I guess double Naturalize is what it is. There's one of Ray of Revelation. Oh, devastating. That's so good. Oh my god, that's brutal. Wow. Yeah, that's sick. Forgot about Ray. Right. Forgot about Ray. Oh my god, that's so perfect. I'm happy that happened. Very happy that happened. Do I want to naturalize here? No, I don't think so. Core Haven is interesting. Probably gonna deep analysis this turn, however. Okay, gonna play Brushland. We do have a Core Haven for next turn, so this can at least stop the Glow Rider onslaught. We can't actually, if they tap a land, we can't actually tutor and then cast the guy, the Battle Wits in the same turn, right? Oh, we can actually. Yeah, we can. Okay, we're gonna do it. YOLO. Take 2 to cast the Battle of Wits down to 10. And I guess we 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, we lose to Wasteland or Armageddon, of course. The MVP of this game was obviously, as it often is in this kind of matchup, the Sylvan Library. Survival. Pichinuk Tavi gets Monk Realist? No! Okay, we're dead now. Alright. RT is cooking over there. I like a lot of what he has going on. Big fan of what he has going on. I think we bring in Tranquil Domain over what? Over Frantic Search? We could bring in another Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation seems actually pretty decent against him. Okay, I'm gonna keep this hand. I'm gonna hope that we find a blue source. Even if we don't, I guess any land will be good for me, because then I can just cycle Tusker. Moves to 6 again. We do get to cast this Last Breath, which is nice. It's not nice because it has a bad art, but Bird. So because the first land they played was a Gemstone Mine, I'm actually going to kill this Bird of Paradise. I wouldn't do that if they had cast a non-Gemstone Mine land. If they had played, I guess, a non-Gemstone Mine land. Werebear. Man, any land would have been awesome right there. We get to call for something. Probably a Rector. Ooh, Ritz Grove to reset the Gemstone Mine? So sexy. Play a Morph. That's a problem. Tutor for Peacekeeper. Hell yeah. Any land is great. So I'm going to use this turn to cycle Tusker. If he has Geddon, he has Geddon, right? But now we get to cycle Tusker. And then I guess next turn we're going to peek to see what he's cooking with. What basic to get is interesting. I think I want to get a second island. So I have too many cantrips in hand. Frozen Verge is a nice pickup. Notably, he didn't use his mana to flip. So let's see what he has in hand. Armageddon, Gemstone Mine, Wasteland. That explains it. So I guess we're just going to play an island here. Pass the turn. This is to hold up Miscalculation for the Armageddon. Counter the Geddon. Place Gemstone Mine. We take 2. Now we're going to Portent. I think we can do better than this. And we're just going to play Crowsome Verge and play out the Peacekeeper. Plow is not bad. Plow is not bad at all, actually. Wasteland, my Crowsome Verge. So we have no more known cards. Definitely going to pay for upkeep there. Play out another Crowsome Verge and pass the turn. We're looking pretty good here, I think. Another Wasteland is brutal. Library. That's a problem. Definitely want to find an answer for that one. It's opt. Treva's Charm. Actually, not the answer I was looking for. Kind of awkward, but... Merchant Scroll finds Intuition. I think I'm just going to play out the Familiar this turn. Let's see what we find here. Intuition for AK. Let's keep this AK. This gives me some nice options. So now I can scroll for Intuition, then Intuition for triple AK, and we can cast 2 AKs to draw 7. Glow Rider. That sucks for me, but we have the Plow, so it's not the worst. We're definitely not going to pay for this bird, but we are going to pay for the other guy. Scroll for Intuition, send it back. Maybe I should have plowed the Glow Rider. There's no way that he kept Swords to Plowshares for the Peacekeeper, right? He's just digging for Armageddon, so I cannot pay the upkeep anymore. Survival. Survival is kind of a problem. Survival plus Gemstone Mine, though. Kind of not the best combination I've ever seen. So he naturally drew the Squee. So now he could probably go get... Oh, I guess that Source of Blush doesn't do anything in the face of Safekeeper, but he's probably going to go get the Wayfarer. Yeah, let's place it out. Peacekeeper upkeep. Say yes. Deep Analysis. Okay, I think I'm gonna Deep Analysis instead of Intuition for AK, because at this point we can still be in a situation where we can intuition for triple battle wits, right? And we kind of have a clock going on right now because eventually Artie is going to find another Geddon. And when he does, we are going to lose because we can't pay for the Peacekeeper anymore. So finding a Wrath would actually not be the worst either. Gaia's Cradle. It's a lot of mana. Survival. Yeah, we're drawing a bunch of cards, but I think it's slipping from us. Man, library is just so insane. I mean, to be fair, we should be good until, as long as we have counter magic for the Armageddon, I guess that we should be fine. Genesis. I guess it's just clearing the deck. Avalanche Riders. Oh my god. I was gonna get rid of both of my planes. Uh-oh. Well, that's a problem. That's a way to answer my Peacekeeper. Brushland. So that's gonna get destroyed. I may just need to do it anyway. I could go Mindstone into Deep Analysis. Okay, let's do that, I guess. Draw some more cards. It's gonna be 2 turns until he gets rid of all my white sources. Because first, the Avalanche Rider needs to die, and then they can bring it back with Genesis. It would be nice to have some sort of Gaia's Blessing, so that we could... I guess it doesn't really matter to blessing the Avalanche Riders when they have a survival in play. So never mind. Yeah, so I think we're kind of screwed here. He's gonna Wayfarer for Wasteland, blow up my Brushland. Next turn, Genesis back, the Avalanche Riders, and cast it. And then we're gonna be in a world of hurt. I may need to intuition for triple basic planes. And this survival keeps churning and clearing the way for the Sylvan Library. Another Glow Rider. Oof. Okay, this is getting complicated. Oh no! Devout Witness? Yeah, that one may be too much. That one may be too much. Okay, I'm gonna play, but I think that I'm locked out now. I can't pay for my Peacekeeper anymore. And Devout Witness effectively locks me out. This card is so sick. Frantic Search, I guess, but yeah, this is just not enough. Oh, this costs 2 more now. Oh yeah, we're done. We're done. That was a lot of fun. All right, we have 1 round left. Let's see if we can take another game. See ya. Time for our last match against Lanny. He's on the play. Probably keeping this hand. Double Rector. What could go wrong? Cabal Therapy. That would suck. So far, people have not really noticed that I'm revealing a 250 card deck. He mulls to 5, but he's playing Dreadnought, so we probably can't win. That sucks. I'm gonna lead on this Sextant because if I find Meddling Mage off the top, then I'm going to want to cast it on turn 2 if I don't die. He daces this. Okay, cool. That means he doesn't have a combo. Battle of Wits has been drawn. Let's see what we have on top. Factor Fiction, Renewed Faith. Kinda just need lands. I'm just gonna ship this. How fun is it that we get to like play a Rector and... Do we want to cast Living Wish this turn? I think I'm just gonna play the Raven Familiar. Just a 3 mana Bad Impulse. If he wants to counter this, totally okay with that. Seal of Cleansing I'll take. Portent. I think this coming turn I'm just going to play a Seal. If he misses a land drop, he does. So now he draws. Familiar dies, and tap, play out my Seal of Cleansing. This will make it a little bit harder for him to kill me now, which is nice. Main phase Gush. He Dreadnoughts. Well, he has the Vision Charm now. So if I seal now, I think this is better. I'm just gonna let that resolve, and then I'm going to pass the turn here. Best case scenario is we find a land. Didn't find land. So now I just have to wish for the Phyrexian Tower. And now we're just too slow. So now we're gonna have to take some damage because my goal is to wish for Chant. If I had found a land, I think we actually had a shot of winning this, but now I don't think that's the case anymore. He has 6 cards in hand. There's just no way that he doesn't have anything, right? Yeah, very, very awkward. So we're just gonna go for his upkeep. We're just gonna wish now for Orim's Chant. I'm not really expecting these to resolve. So there goes the Chant. He foils, and I'm just gonna Seal of Cleansing. Maybe his answer to Seal is Vision Charm, in which case we may get 1 more turn. No, it's Stifle. Okay. Sideboarding, bring in Uktabi, cut Sphere, bring it Gilded Drake. Bring it Gilded Drake? I mean, one or the other, right? We can't have both. So I guess I'm going to bring in Peacekeeper. I just want to cut the Wrath of God. I don't think Wrath is good. So we're going to bring in Radiance, Judgment, bring in Tudor for another Wrath, and I guess that's it. Obviously, this matchup is probably the absolute worst. I mean, again, this deck is bad. Not for a second be confused about this. Like, this is not a good deck, okay? It's a fun deck. It's a hilarious deck. It's not good. So I'm not really trying to min-max anything here. I am just trying to play optimally, or as close to optimally as I can, but yeah, I don't think too much matters. Like, we're playing against literally the best deck in the format. The fact that we were remotely close to getting there in that specific game, it's hilarious enough, to be honest with you. Because if I had found the land, it would have at least allowed me to kill the Dreadnought, because I didn't waste one turn to Living Wish. So that gives me one turn to hope to resolve a Rector, which gets countered. And then on the following, I take 12, and then on the following turn, I get to do the thing, to kill the Dreadnought with Seal of Cleansing. I don't think it's guaranteed that we win, but, you know, we at least had a shot. If this were a blue source, I would keep this, but it is not. How about this hand? I mean, it has Melee Mage. I think I'm keeping this. And because it has Melee Mage, I think I'm on the play. So I'm going to opt on turn 1 as opposed to spending it to Lonely Sandbar, because I want to maximize the chances that I find a white source. Because if I do find a white source, then we get to slam Melee Mage on turn 2. There's an island. Here's an opt. We're going to bottom the other opt. Again, trying to maximize the chances that we find a white source. It's not it. It's not quite a white source. I'm gonna cycle here though. Still no white source. The goal was to find white there, and then we can hopefully do something. I think we're just gonna get cheesed here. Oh, Powder Keg. Alright, I guess Melee Mage is no longer the answer. Tranquil Thicket. Yep, okay. Pass the turn. Go Slan, go. There's that, I guess. I think I'm just gonna go for Dream Cache. If I could put only one of these on top, I would. Can't quite do that though. So let's just bottom a couple of lands. Let's Melee Mage here. And I think I'm maging naming Parallax Tide. Not that it matters, there's literally a Powder Keg on board. So I don't think it matters too much. Maybe I shouldn't have even played that land at all. Just doesn't do anything. Interesting. Swing for 2. Here's a Rector. I imagine this gets countered? It's not even clear. Because you can just stifle the trigger if he ever cares about this. Okay, just cashes in the counterspell. Makes sense. Maybe I shouldn't have done anything because he had 7 cards in hand and he would be, if he misses another land drop, he would be going to discard. So I think I'm going to do that this turn, just not do anything. It punishes me if he eventually does find the Parallax Tide. One of the scenarios where I wish this were a disenchant. Just going to attempt to plow now, just to use my colors. He gushes in response. And foil? That suggests no counterspell. But it may suggest Stifle. Misdirection. Well, that's gross. At least we gain 2 life. That is pretty gross, though. So land and 5 unknowns. Pretty stocked hand. Counterspell would be a nice pickup. Not quite. A null. Okay. So we're gonna take a healthy hit here. Take 12 down to 9. And we draw. Okay, there we go. So that was it. We actually won one more match than I was expecting we were going to. And there you go, folks. Thank you so much for checking this video out. And thank you so much, James, in particular, for sponsoring this video. James actually contacted me about it many months ago, and I could never get around to it because Moto was having some pretty serious lag issues. But now I was surprised by how well it was able to handle this whole thing. To actually get a wrap up on the deck, I think that Battle Wits is probably not good. I mean, like, let's get that out of the way. We did actually manage to steal a game, actually multiple games, many more games than I was suspecting we were going to. So you could do it without, like, a little bit of a more serious approach. I think that this idea is solid in terms of what it's trying to achieve. I do like the Rector angle to this, and building this entirely around tutors is very cool. But I do think that the wishes are, yeah, it's just like the same problem that wishes always have, which is that they just require too much space for not really that much of a payoff, to be honest with you. So oftentimes we find ourselves like, you cannot have wish for like only 2 cards, you know? Or maybe in a deck like this, you probably should, because we actually have more tutors than wishes. And when that is the case, maybe you want to, I don't know, try to go in that direction instead. I think it's strange because, you know, you can only do so much. Like, your slots matter only so much when you're playing 250 cards. Like, that's a lot of cards. But, you know, it's like one of those things where even maybe a little percentage could make a difference, you know, especially, again, when you're playing so many tutors, maybe you want to maximize for that. That being said, the Rector angle was nice. I actually do enjoy this card quite a bit. I think it has some potential. I do think that you can sort of exploit this a little bit more. Maybe you need to play Force of the Dragon. I think that you could exploit this in some way or another. I don't know where that some way is. I do think that something like that I just suggested, like Future Sight, could be interesting. so that you can tutor with Rector for value, I guess. But this version had a little bit of an issue with sack outlets, so that's another thing that you may want to keep in mind. Raven familiars were pretty bad. I feel like I would use something else. I understand the idea that we want to... I don't think we drew this card even a single time, but you kind of want to build towards that. The problem with Raven familiar in particular is that it doesn't quite work in that sense. So I think instead of Raven Familiar, I would play Wall of Blossoms instead. So there are some like optimizations that could potentially be done. I think that some number of naturalizes would be important because we have more green than white mana, so that's another little angle that we can optimize in. So they're like little things that you can do in terms of how to build a deck like this. The problem is, like, I think that you will often just find yourself feeling like you're not doing enough, because again, like, you are just crippling yourself in such a dramatic way by having so many cards, and your deck, even though this version of the deck in particular is quite focused and quite centered, it's still really hard to enact your game plan when your deck, even though a bunch of your cards do the same thing, to say it somehow, they are just not very good at doing it. So, we're playing cards like Peak or, like Ladnam's Legacy. Like, these are not great cards. Ricochet was kind of nice, actually. I was surprised by this card's effectiveness. Again, sorcery versus instant is quite the hit, but maybe, I don't know, maybe this kind of stuff like Frantic Search was also pretty bad. So there are certain things that can be potentially improved about this. Is it worth it? That's going to be entirely up to you, because honestly, whenever we triggered Battle of Wits and we won the game, it felt pretty damn good. So if you are into that, if you are into feeling that feeling, then Battle of Wits is definitely something that I think is very enjoyable. So I do appreciate that. If your goal is to win, then I would definitely search somewhere else. But once again, this was very fun. Thank you so much, James, for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. And folks, I will see you, I don't know when. So this is going to be my last video for quite a bit, and I will keep folks posted regarding where I am going to be bringing it back. But until then, have a fantastic rest of your day, week, month, year, and I will see you hopefully soon, folks. Long live Premodern, and see you on the other side. Bye bye and take care.